Hey, Diane DeWald with CreativeCatCrafts.com. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new today and joining me for the first time, don't forget to, if you enjoy what I present today, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and then hit the notification bell so that you're notified for future content. So today we're going to do something very similar. We're going to change the greeting. I think I'm going to still do the fishing boat, but we're going to add a whole bunch more because we're going to build this scene up. And I really like this. I did this real fast for my husband for his birthday from the cats. His parents have a lake cottage and we like to go in there during the summer. And when he grew up, he was at the lake all the time. And then our two girls, Sylvie and Gina. I don't have a brown tabby, so I need to find one. I ordered one from Etsy, and it's one of those things. Sometimes you find a great thing, and sometimes you're, uh, that didn't work out. Well, it was one of those didn't work out. So I need to go on the hunt again. So from Gina K Designs, when was this released? This was released in May. I apologize. I'm at the end of my cold. Occasionally I have to clear my throat, so I apologize for that. But the card kit that was released late May of 2026, sunny days and breezy nights. And when I checked a little earlier today, this is Sunday, June 28th, they still had, or she still had available kits. So if there still are kits available, when she does her release on either July 7th or July 14th, they'll break all of these up and you can buy them a la carte. Unfortunately, if like this embossing folder, those 3D embossing folders take like 5 to 6 months for her to reorder. If you really want that one, I've done 2 videos on that. And if you want to take a look at my channel and take a look at those will be out there. And then I use this stamp set here on a previous video. I have yet to use a few of these others, but we're going to use this stencil called, and I've got it upside down. I have it all wonky. What's this called? It's called Tropical Landscape. And I do have this all wonky. There. Hold it up to the light. Yep, that's the way it goes. But we're going to build a scene very similar to this, but we're going to add some elements to it. And some of those elements, oops, I like to, on the card kits, I like to make a copy of the insert and slide it, and slide it in. But the other things we are going to use tonight is the tropical silhouettes, which is also part of that kit. The boat, I think, is what we're going to use on this. There's nothing else in that we're going to use. But I'm also pulling out ocean silhouettes. There's a couple little grasses. Like I said, we're building a scene that the grasses are going to fit perfect. In addition, I should have had this one on top. Harvest of Happiness. These 3 trees we're going to utilize because that's what I used here instead of the mountain from that stencil. And I'll show you how I did that. And then, whoops, this happy birthday is what we're going to use instead of this big, bold happy birthday. My father-in-law, his birthday is in November, and this is his card. This is his birthday card, inks that we're going to use. And yes, when you're building a scene, you do have a lot of things that you pull from a lot of different places. So these are all of my inks: the black onyx, grass green, fresh asparagus, blue sky, powder blue, and blue denim. And I did forget one thing that we are going to use. I like to use the master layouts from Gina K Designs. And we're going to use master layouts 1, these 2 large rectangles. And if you do not have them, while I get set up, those are the dimensions of those 2 rectangles. Cardstock that we're going to use I've already got my card base, which is a US A2 card size. So it is cut at 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4.25. And I'll move those dimensions off in just a moment. I get my card bases from Cut Cardstock in Valparaiso, Indiana. It's a family-owned business. I like to support family and I like to support local. They're 5 hours away, but I do like to support them. This is Neenah Classic Crest Solar White. It's 110 pound. I'm gonna knock my inks over if I'm not careful. So the card base is all ready to go. Excuse me again. And I also get from them, this is a layer, what I call a layering weight. This is 65 pound Pop Tone Black Licorice. I love the black onyx, but it is 100 pound cardstock. And when I did my Christmas cards last year, I did 83 cards that I sent out, and all but a handful needed extra postage. So because I was using super thick cardstock for my matting, and then this is just 80 pound Neenah Classic Crest Solar White. It's already cut down. I have a full sheet of 80 pound Neenah Classic Crest Solar White. I'm going to cut it in half, and that's what we're going to work with when we build our scene. So I'm going to cut this down at 5.5. And I'm actually going to cut off a few, just an inch. It doesn't need to be that huge. So this is roughly 5.5 by 7.5. We're going to cut it down further because we'll cut our scene out using the master layout. So let me get this out of the way. The last piece of cardstock, I went ahead from the Spring Things and I cut out the happy birthday, and I saved one of my negative spaces, and we'll get that stamped as well. That's 110 pound Neenah Classic Crest Solar White. So let me bring in, I need a grip mat. So I like the Gina K Designs double background grip mats. And this is my Recollections Lazy Susan. I had been using the We Are Memory Keepers. They don't have that anymore. And it's the exact same thing. It's just, it has a different name on it. That's all. So this is, and you know what? I don't really need the grip. I don't need the grip mat. I don't need the grip mat. And there's a reason for that. I saw there's a company called The Ton that makes all kinds of stencils and other, I don't know if she does stamps. I have to clear my throat. Hang on one second. Sorry about that. I'm glad I didn't cough in your face, so to speak. This is why I wanted the larger piece of cardstock, because I'm taping that down. And I'll save that for just a second, because I'm going to use that. We'll get this out of the way. And we're going to start with our stencil. I'm a little disjointed. Where did it go? Tropical Silhouette. So there are 3 pieces in here. And we're not going to do the mountains on this, but I do need this piece here. And I'm going to use a bunch of Post-it notes to help me put color where it doesn't belong. And I'm just taping this down. I could use a grip mat, but I'm not going to. So I'm just going to secure this in a couple of places. and it'll be fine. So we are going to, trying to think, okay. These are both going to be green. So we are going to use grass green. I don't need to use Post-it notes on this one. So let's go ahead. Oops, I got this backwards. Turn it around. Clear my area a little bit. And I'm going to use my light green blending brush. Let's go ahead and get this already done up or inked up. And this is what I like about the Lazy Susan. So I'm going to start on the stencil very lightly. Work this across. And I don't care if I go over the edge. In fact, I want to kind of go over the edge. Because that will help me line up the other stencils. And I'm doing big sweeping motion, sorry. This is very relaxing to me. So just amazing. Okay, let's go ahead, ink this up. I want to start on the larger part of the stencil. Very light hand. Oh, and I just picked up some cat hair. And I'm extending past because, like I said earlier, I'm trying to get the outside of the stencil to help me line up the others. So it doesn't bother me that I've gone past it. Oop, I got a little heavy-handed there. That's okay. Okay, go the other way now. And just let's build this color. This will smooth out, but I want these pretty dark. There we go. So I'm increasing my pressure a little bit. There we go. Looks like I had some cat hair there. I do. Okay, I'm just going to wipe this stencil down. We're not going to use this one again, so I will clean that a little bit later. So I'm going to go ahead and cover that, otherwise I might I might stick my whole arm in that. And building a scene, this takes a little more time, so this is going to be a little bit of a longer video. And I could save these, but I'm not going to. I'll clean this later. So let me put this over on a paper towel. And then this is the guy we're going to line up. These have, do these have etchings? No, but I'm looking at the outside. Oh, you know what? I had that back. Okay. I had it upside down. So our scene is going to be the opposite of this because I wasn't paying attention and I had it upside down. So I'm lining everything up. And now is where I need the Post-it notes. So let me move you in just a little bit. Oh, that's a bit much. Sorry, that's like really close. So now you see this is all lined up. I lined up the top and the bottom with all of those, and I'm using Post-it notes here on this side, and I don't care. I'm not going to get it over there because we're going to end up cutting. I actually didn't need the Post-it note at all on this one because we're going to cut that off. I'm just getting in the habit of it. So I'm going to start on the template. Very light hand. And then increase and not increase the pressure, but just increasing the amount of ink I'm putting down to darken it up. Ink blending, I'm learning, is a process of just building ink. You still want a light hand, otherwise it gets really splotchy. And we are done with this one because we're not doing the mountain. Put that off to the side, and I'm going to save these because I think I can save these. Pull those up. Nope, that one I don't want up yet. And then this one, oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? And those are smoothing out. So we're done with this one. Now all I need is the water. This has the mountain in it. So, and I need to make sure that I also flip this one over. And we're going to line it all up. Tape it down. Oh, it shifted. See it. There we go. There we go. Where's my other piece of tape? Right here. And there we are. And I'm not caring about up here because we're going to cut this off. So I'm not even going to use a Post-it note. But we are done with the grass green. And I'm going to start with blue denim. So I'm going to get my brush with the darker blue. And this is going to be super light hand. I'm going to start down here. And like I said, I don't care if I go up in the mountain area because I am cutting that part off because we're going to build a tree line. Okay, done with that one. I am going to wipe off the stencil because we're going in with a lighter blue. And now we're going to use powder blue. And I'm going to grab my light blue, which I've already cleaned off. We're going to pick up some powder blue. This is a Midwest lake and not an ocean. It's interesting. There must have been an imperfection on the cardstock there. Hopefully that smooths out. So we are done with our ink blending on this. I am touching all kinds of ink with my fingers. So I'm going to make sure I wash my hands before I touch anything more white. But there is our scene. And I'm seeing a little bit in here. And thinking about how I'm going to fix that. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to hold this down with my hand. There we go. That fixed it. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to clean these stencils. Oops, that's moving me in. And I've already got my alcohol ready to go. And the green. And then the green. That's kind of neat that this is going to be a reverse of that original. So let me put all those stencils together. Close up the alcohol. I don't need to breathe that in. And I'll bring that turntable back here in a minute. But what I'm going to do now is, let me grab the Master Layout 1 die. I want less of the hill over here. I want more lake, so to speak. So let me go die cut this. I'll be right back. Okay, we have a die cut. Isn't that cool? That is so cool. And like I said, I'm cutting this off. And that little bump there, I don't want it as bumped. Should have grabbed my large scissors. Now there's a little bit of white there on the edge, so I'm just going to take my blending brush. And it also adds a little more dimension to that hill. And just defines it a little more. There. That's perfect. That totally perfect. Okay, not last thing, but here's, so I don't want to see the pencil line. So I'm lining this up with the bottom, and then I'm going to pull it down just a couple millimeters, maybe 1/8 of an inch. And I'm taking a pencil. I want to draw a line. And this is the Master Layout smaller size. If you don't have it, it's 3 3/4 inch by 5 inch, and I have just a very light pencil line there because we need that for the next step. So let me grab my Misty. This, get this semi-straight in here. And Harvest of Happiness is what we need. And I'm going to grab these 3 trees. And I'm going to use the fresh asparagus. I'm going to get this out of the way because I don't want it to overspray. And I'm just going to build some trees here. Along the horizon. And let's clean those off. I'm going to get that out of the way because I don't want overspray. And these will lighten up. So ink there on the, and then these, put this one right here, but I'm going to do this one in the grass green. Just to break it up a little bit. And then I need my fresh asparagus ink cube. And I'm going to do the same thing. Well, I can't because I've moved the stamps. I was going to do that the other direction. But there's our tree line. It looks ugly right now. Okay, let's pull this little guy off. And here's our, look at that little tree line. Isn't that cool? I really think that's cool. So let's grab, I'm going to go ahead and let's get this together. No, we can't, not yet. There's one thing I need to do. And I almost forgot about it. So we have our blue sky. And I need my light blue. I need to pull off the blue denim. And I am just this is blue sky. Okay. That just fills it out. You can kind of see a little bit of the blue sky there. That's great. Okay, now we can glue these two together. And then I can add in the grasses and the crane. So I'm going to line this up with the bottom. And basically that's it. So let me get that mooshed down while I get the stamp sets we're going to need. So this is Ocean Silhouettes, and I need some blocks because we need different grasses. And then from Tropical Silhouettes, we're going to do that with a Misty. And that's primarily because I want to put this little guy down here, and we're the guys with the boat. Here we are. I'm going to do the guys with the boat up here. I had some green ink on there. New stamp. Let me just make sure that they're fairly straight. Yep. Okay. Now, black onyx for the guys in the boat. I'm trying to debate. Am I gonna do the bird in, sorry, my head was in the way. Trying to decide if I'm gonna do the bird in gray. I think I am. So let me go look at my grays. I'll be right back. I'm gonna try the stormy gray on the heron, only because, you know, he's a heron. Oh, that's all. No, well, let's see. Oh, yeah, hang on. Hang on. I like the gray on him. And it's really an egret. That works. Okay, let me clean these off. I should have got my ink cube out for the guys in the boat. The egret works. Now, fresh asparagus. Here's where we're doing some scene building. Let me grab a piece of scrap cardstock because I've not done these grasses before. Oh, I definitely like one smaller than the other. I didn't know that. Okay. We're just going to fill him in. Oh, that's really cool. I like this. Whoops, I just stuck my finger. I like that. And now I'm doing second, they call second generation stamping. So I'm stamp once, pick it up, stamp it again. It kind of gives you that little bit of extra dimension when you do that. There. I like that. I think it gives a whole lot of dimension there, and it makes it look like you're on a shoreline. And we're just going to keep going. Because you know, this is a marshland, right? Why not? Not what you tuned in to watch. Okay, let's grab the larger one. Off the page. I like this. Too bad I don't have some small cattails. But I like that. That's really cool. Okay, let's cover this up. And I think we're pretty done. Let's go ahead and get these two cleaned off, and I can get those back together. And then I have one last thing I want to do on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and do the inside of the card. My father-in-law loves to sail, and from A Time to Coast, I love this sailboat. So we're going to do that right there in the corner. And then from Cheers to Another Year, I can pull that down just a little bit. Oh, this little guy is all warped. And I just got him really warped. Okay. Black onyx ink. Oh, I do. That's beautiful. He's gonna really like that. And then one last piece is the greeting on the front. Sorry, I don't have that one already done. but it won't but take a few seconds. Well, a minute. It'll take a minute. It's a time to coast. Just making sure I get those where they need to be. Scrap. Here's my scrap. And spring things. See if we can get this thing to line up and not be wonky. Okay, and I like to prep my negative space just like this on the back. This is on the back side. And then let me get some of my delicate tape. Get this lined up. I like to put the minty or low-tack tape in there just so when you put your sentiment in, it holds everything in place. Because most of the time, big bold sentiments like this, I have to stamp several times, even using Gina's black onyx. And that is very nice. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. I'm going to leave it alone because after I'm done, I'm going to go back on here and do some more of those greetings so I have them in my stash. Okay, we are ready to assemble. Yay. Okay, camera, focus. Make sure I don't have any ink on my hands. And there's my card base. Oh. My mats. And let's go ahead and get, oh, I had some ink on that grip mat. I'll need to clean that. Make sure I don't have any ink on me. Oops, that's really wonky. Very wonky. It's not that it's crooked, it's I'm crooked. So let me grab some hand sanitizer. I just want to make sure my hands are clean. Because you never know when you've got ink on your hand. Yep, okay. You could ruin, I've ruined cards with big old thumbprints. It's not pretty. This is a fairly simple card to put together. He's gonna love it. I do like that marsh. That's really cute, cool. Okay, let's get this on the inside. I don't know if I'm going to put any bling on the front. I don't think I will. I'm just going to put that down there. Then it's right on the front. Oh, he's going to love this. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I love making scenes like this. And then I'm going to use, there we go, just one of my extra die cuts. Give it a little extra. And I've got some of my little itty bitty dimensionals from Stampin' Up. Back already pulled off of that. Get a bunch on here for support. Pull these off. I'm going to use my overhead camera to help me get this straight. Voila. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this longer video. Whenever you're building a scene, it just sometimes it just takes a while. But my father-in-law is just going to love this because it's the lake. And this almost looks like, so there's a little bit of an imperfection there in the lake. Oh, I'm not done. That's the gold I need. This is the white. This is my white jelly roll. And I'm trying to get this flowing. There we go. I'm going in a straight line. Oops. So if the ink is still fairly wet, you can, oops, sorry, didn't mean to give you the finger. You can wipe it off if you think you got too much. Like that. That was too much. Oh, I like that. Gives it a little, it makes the water flow when you do that. Oh, I like it. I like that a lot. Love these little grasses down here. Well, thank you for joining me. I will have everything I used listed down below. And if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're notified in the future when I post another video. And while you're down there, if you would click that like button, it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks so much for joining me, and until next time, happy stamping.